We have the general manager from Thunder Ridge Nature Arena sitting right next to us, Kevin Russell. All those backstage passes and comps and whatnot, now's the time to hit him up. Aaron White, good morning, sir, and welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. We're so glad that you're here. Thunder Ridge Nature Arena, I mean, just grown by leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. A seismic event when Garth Brooks was announced to come and open the venue a couple of years ago. And then that whole next season was spent tailor-making every aspect to the concert experience before you guys opened up. And ever since you got open proper, one after the other iconic groups, I've noticed so far this year, y'all have really upped not only the quality, if it's possible to get higher, better than the Rolling Stones. You know, I mean, I still don't know about that. But as far as the number of acts that you guys have announced, talk about this year and sort of how you guys landed on who's coming.
So last year we did 7 shows. 100,000 people came through the venue. This year,
no big deal.
Yeah, this year we've got 15 plus shows, and we'll more than double.
Wow,
that patronage.
That's awesome. So you guys have a great variety, I guess it were. You're not just sticking with one genre of music. How important is that when you have a big time venue?
Yeah, well, so we want to accommodate all aspects, every fan's experience, and that's Johnny's goal. Obviously, if you go out there, it's not just the experience when they're in the venue of you can get pit passes, you can be on the hill, you can have the premium experience, but also the genres, and we want to expose all levels and walks of life to the venue. So you're right, we've got pop, we've got country, we've got rock, we've got kids bop, we've got Christian.
Right, I saw that. Yeah.
It's a good time to be here in Ozark Mountain Country because there are so many different things to do. One of the things that we like to do here on the station is sort of massage our format. We are technically legends of country, but on the morning show from 6 to 9, we like to play stuff that's cool. We like to play stuff that we figure that good music is good music, which is kind of what you guys, that's the train of thought, or that's the ethos, I guess, that you guys are going on. So how long have you been there, Aaron? How long have you been the GM?
I started last May.
Okay.
May 13th.
So almost a year.
On site. So I've almost made a year.
And what do you think?
It's a constant evolution, and it keeps you on your feet. So
I can't even imagine. So who decides who gets booked?
That would be a combination of myself, the ownership group. And we work closely with Live Nation on some of the shows. Other of the shows are ownership buys, and our booking group. So.
Wow.
Okay, awesome. And I'm sure, I mean, you might have heard of the dude that owns it, Johnny Morris. He's kind of a famous guy, especially around these parts. He's got some famous friends. So I'm sure that Johnny can pick up the phone and be like, hey, Hank, why don't you come on down here and play on this day, right? And Hank's like, all right, John, I'll be there. Is that...
Some of those conversations happen, or Johnny will reach out to us and say, hey, I was just talking to Hank. I was just talking to so-and-so.
Okay.
Can you reach out and let's see if we can make something happen?
That's pretty fun. So let's get into it. Let's roll up our sleeves and get into it, and let's talk about the actual events that are coming up. The first event of the year, we actually chatted with Pork Chop a little bit earlier this year. Bulls, Bands, and Barrels. Now, that is a full-on rodeo event as well as a country music concert featuring 2 iconic hitmakers, right?
Yeah.
How'd that come about?
Well, we have an in with Bulls, Bands, and Barrels. Hunter, who is the promoter there and kind of owns Bulls, Bands, and Barrels. We've been trying to get him to come out to the venue. We got him out last year, and he kind of walked around. And once we get you on site,
you're hooked.
Yeah, that's right.
We got you.
All you got to do is see it.
So
that's it. That's all you got to do.
And we wanted to push ourselves, and this is going to do that. We got to bring in some dirt. We're going to do a rodeo, and then a concert. But
well, that also shows how many different events that you guys could have at Thunder Ridge, how you can move different things and arrange different things. Because when Pork Chop came on, he told us, he's like, look, we took some of the best things that people like about rodeo, bullfighting, bull racing, or barrel racing, different things like that. And then it's a country music concert, and he made a great point in saying Craig Morgan's not going to come out and do 2 songs and tip his hat and then bring Riley Green out and do a couple songs and then that's it. It's a full concert experience. How difficult is it to start the season off with an event that requires so many different levels to go right?
There's a lot of logistics involved in making this happen.
I imagine. Yeah.
And just loading in. You're not just loading in the concert. You're loading in livestock. You're loading in dirt. You're loading in, and then you're switching it to a concert.
Yeah.
So yeah, the logistics are pretty intense.
That's pretty cool, though. It's April 26th. It's kind of funny how the universe kind of talks to you a little bit. I saw one of my headlines today, a little story about Riley Green. Before Riley Green got famous, he worked in construction. And every weekend, he played at the same Mexican restaurant in Jacksonville, Alabama, for about $150 a night. He did it every week for 8 years. And then someone from another larger venue just happened to see him one night, called him up, asked him to come out. It was a venue of 1,300 is what it held, right? And Riley said his first thought was, my God, that place is going to be empty. He showed up. Over 1,000 people came out to see him. The next thing you know, he was on his way. That's a great event to start. Very, very, very family-friendly event, especially with the rodeo. And then you've got 2 country singers that sort of lend themselves to that rodeo scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you've got Craig Morgan, who's been there, done that.
Yes,
right.
We love some
Riley,
Craig Morgan.
Who is just
one of the biggest names in country
right
music right now. And that's another thing. We talked about Cody Johnson earlier. That show coming up August 23rd, I do believe. Cody Johnson, another one of those. If you're not hip to what Cody Johnson's doing, if you're one of those old people kind of like we tend to be sometimes, and we turn our nose up at that new country, that don't sound like country music, listen to Cody Johnson, and that tune will change. He is this close from being as big as Garth Brooks, as big as Alan Jackson, as big as any of those people in the history, because he has such a broad appeal.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got somebody new, and then you've got one of the OGs, Country Music Hall of Famer, Rockin' Randall Hank Williams Jr. coming up as well. That is August 16th. That show is going to be fantastic.
I mean, you got 3 weeks in a row right there with legendary country. Yeah, Hank Williams Jr., Cody Johnson, and then Tim McGraw.
Yeah, August 31st. Yeah, that's
all right there.
Absolutely crazy, son. And I've seen people are awful amped up about Tim McGraw.
Well, and I'm going to throw a teaser out there. So Tim's on Sunday. We've got an announce coming for the Saturday before. So that weekend will be huge, and it'll be another big act.
There is nothing I love and hate more than a tease. Aaron White, General Manager for Thunder Ridge Nature Arena, joining us here. So we talked about our country acts. I would be remiss if I did not talk about Willie Nelson. So Willie is coming with Bob Dylan and Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. 3 very different artists, but they all kind of go together, do they not?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's kind of a package deal, right? They're out touring, and it's different performers for different dates. So the fact that you got them to come, that's awesome.
They are, and one of the goals with the venue is to bring these iconic, Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, these guys, we want their names, the Rolling Stones. We want their names associated with our venue.
100%, and that reputation is growing rapidly for the fact that, some of these performers, they don't even come to, like, the, quote, big cities and play anymore, and they're coming out here to Thunder Ridge Nature Arena. You can go to thunderridgenaturearena.com right now to go ahead and purchase up your tickets. So there's also Post Malone and Jelly Roll. Now, I know the youngerns are very excited about that. Kevin Russell has kids in their teens. I'm sure they want to go and see Post and Jelly, do they not? Son?
Well, listen, my wife is really excited about the Jelly Roll. I'll tell you, she's a big fan of his, and boy, he's become more country, and he put out a country album nominated for a lot of ACM awards.
That's right.
And that Post Malone Jelly Roll concert, I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
And the thing about Jelly Roll, he endears himself to the people. The more he talks, the more he shares his story and all that stuff. You guys expecting a pretty big crowd for that one, I would imagine, sir.
For sure. And we started working on the Post Malone Jelly Roll a year ago.
That's awesome.
Wow. So y'all were kind of in on that a little.
We sent them some Bass Pro stuff. And,
you did.
Kind of got them thinking Thunder Ridge, Bass Pro, and
So how often does that happen that you work on an act that long?
We're working on 2026 now.
That's awesome.
And we've got some things penciled in and on the books that are going to be pretty cool.
Man, that's really cool.
So, Aaron, what concert are you most excited about? Like, take your work hat off and put on your fanboy hat. Which one can you not wait to slap your own money down on the barrelhead to purchase
I'd
tickets
say
for?
there's two of them.
Okay.
I grew up Alabama.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the boys from Fort Payne, son. That's right.
and then Tim McGraw.
Yep.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
All right. So
Those are my two.
so you're rooted in that good old 80s, 90s country. So that's your.
Yep.
I
That's
love-
when I grew up. That's where I was at.
I love that. I could tell he was one of our
Yep.
people. We talked about country. We talked about even pop current stuff, right? We also have to talk about some of our legendary acts. We mentioned Hank Jr. Look, the Doobie Brothers with the Coral Reefer Band. Son, I'm a huge Parrot head. Grew up in the South. Love me some Jimmy Buffett. I was really sad when Buffett passed away, obviously, but I kind of hoped that the band would sort of have a perpetual tour, kind of like the Grateful Dead. They just sort of just kept going. Yeah, they would just bring other people out. How did that come about? That's a pretty big show.
So that's one that we were working on as well as we looked at what we had already booked, and we wanted to make sure we were covering the different genres and things. That one just popped.
Awesome.
And we reached out and we're like, we got to get you guys here.
Dude, so awesome. Our friend Aaron White, general manager from Thunder Ridge Nature Arena. A lot of people are headed out to Thunder Ridge this year. There has been so much work done on Highway 86, specifically from like that new bridge over at the crossing all the way to 65. You got 3 lanes, you got 4 lanes, you got overpasses, you got underpasses. This is a constant thing that you guys are working on, right? The best way to get people in and out of the venue, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so we did last year, just an example, last year for Morgan Wallen, getting people out, we were 3 hours getting people out. By the end of the season, we were an hour and 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
See, that's awesome.
And we're making changes this year. So we encourage people to come early because we got the fan zone. People can hang out, eat some food, relax. So come early. But this year as well, parking is part of the ticket.
Oh wow.
So you just pull in and you park.
That's awesome. I love that so much. We went out for Chris Stapleton.
Yes, we did.
Last year to see the Stapleton show, and Kevin Sweetbride brought a blanket, and we just staked us out a spot on the hill there and put that blanket out and sat down. What a great place to watch a show. You can see the lake over behind the stage. There's all sorts of food, all sorts of beverages. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, if you have the ways and the means, there are some very unique places to watch a show from at Thunder Ridge. Are there not? I'm talking about the boxes, I'm talking about the restaurant, I'm talking about that awesome Veterans Tower. What's your favorite spot to watch a show?
For me, I like the Party Barn.
Okay. All right.
So you got the Party Barn, and you're right. There's a ton of iconic spots to watch a show. If you want to be close to the band, we can get you into the pit. If you want to be just relaxed up on the hill, and this year we're going to rent lawn chairs. So once you get there, you can rent a lawn chair and relax on the hill.
Yes.
We've got 2 VIP clubs that we've set up down on the floor. So if you get there, you want to upgrade, you're like, hey, what's that down there? I'd kind of like to go down there and have my own
So
club
you can
experience.
upgrade at the-
You can upgrade right there.
That's awesome.
And go down and have that full experience.
Aaron, I can tell you guys have been listening to what the people are telling you. This is very much a give and take relationship. You guys want to be here. Johnny wants to be here. You want to bring the best and the brightest names in entertainment, but you also want it to be a seamless experience. That's something that you guys are going to continue to work on forever.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we started last year, and it'll move into this year. We're sending out surveys after the event to the fans coming in, the clientele coming in. We want their feedback so we can make adjustments and make changes and make things better.
It's awesome. ThunderRidgeNatureArena.com. Kevin, is there anything that you wanted to ask Aaron before we?
You already teased a little bit. At least one more that you're announcing.
Yeah.
Should we expect more than that?
There'll be
also,
a couple more.
All right. Awesome, man.
How late in the season are you guys going to attempt to book?
Well, we're getting to where we're about done, but we will not stop. We will be out there watching, and then we never know when Johnny's going to come to the table and say, hey, I was just talking to so-and-so. We're going to get them in this year.
So would you ever have a show booked in October, November?
We have some stuff we're working on.
Oh, that's what I love to hear.
He's good.
Yeah, he is good, son. He's you can tell.